I think the best thing for me to do is start off by saying that this is my second attempt to record this one because I do these in the morning and I didn't turn off a reminder, so yay. I got 8 minutes into a 10-minute recording and had to start over. Here we are. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about Whoopi Goldberg, and I think I'm going to do a better job because I kind of went off a rail in the last one anyway, but I love Whoopi Goldberg. I love Whoopi Goldberg. I love Whoopi Goldberg. I have loved Whoopi Goldberg since 1985, roughly 84, 85, when I was introduced via HBO to a one-woman special that she did on Broadway. In this special, she played 5 characters. There was a little girl. There was the Jamaican woman. There was the disabled woman. There was... Oh, wow, I'm forgetting one. So there was a little girl. All right, so let me start. I'm going to not remember the 5th one because I want to remember the 5th one, but maybe by the time I'm done. So there was a little girl. One of the characters she did was a little girl. It's a little black girl. And she wore a white shirt on her head to signify long, luxurious blonde hair. Now, this picture here, you can see, is me as a kid. And guess what? I had long, luxurious blonde hair. That character, when Whoopi Goldberg did it, and I was that blonde-headed black kid that everybody looked at like, oh, he's a unicorn, that struck a chord with me because I had been that person, but I'd gotten to see both sides of it. And what she was showing was 2 sides to it. A little black girl who just was enamored by the images that she saw on television to the point where she didn't even see her own beauty. That's my takeaway. Then there was the Jamaican woman. And the Jamaican woman does this amazing telling of being like a housekeeper, domestic housekeeper for a gentleman, I'm assuming older white gentleman, and she calls him the old raisin because he's so old and so wrinkly and all she wants to do is iron him. And I just loved that. It was so funny because they fall in love. And then that was about interracial love and age differences. But she told the story about how she fell in love with this man as she despised looking at him because he reminded her of an old raisin. And then there was the disabled woman. The show closed with this, if I'm not mistaken. Now I'm doing all this from memory. I haven't seen this in probably decades, but definitely haven't seen this since maybe the early 90s. But this is how much this stuck in my head. The disabled woman, and Whoopi Goldberg takes this character and she contorts her body and she contorts her voice. And I believed in this wholeheartedly watching it on stage. And it was just Whoopi Goldberg on this stage. But the disabled woman finds love with a normal man who sees her as normal. And as she fights to convince him that she is completely deformed and therefore not deserving of love, that's not what he sees. And so on the stage, you watch Whoopi Goldberg kind of allow this character to see herself through how this man who loves her and sees beyond her disability that she can't see beyond, she allows herself to see that fullness. And when you watch this expanse on the stage as a kid who's dealing with your own issues, It's breathtakingly beautiful. I mean, I cannot tell you. I'm going to get back to Fontaine. That's the character I want to talk about. But I know now why I forgot the fifth character. Because the fifth character, Fontaine, really, it's the opening. I love Fontaine. But the fifth character was the Valley Girl. And the Valley Girl, for those of you that don't know the 80s, the Valley Girl was like a big thing. Nicolas Cage, one of his first movies, where he plays this kid from, I think it was inner city Los Angeles, and he gets invited to this party where all the hip kids in the valley live, and oh my God, like everybody says this, and if you wonder why every kid can't say anything now, it's like saying like 8 million times as they say anything and everything. That all started, if I'm not mistaken, from a movie from the early 80s called Valley Girl, and we all started emulating that, oh my God, and now it has just taken over to the point where people can't communicate without using the word like over and over again, myself included. I try to break myself and I can't. I think I know that pretty much started because of the movie Valley Girl by Nicolas Cage. I could be wrong on that too, but the Valley Girl is talking about how life is so great and everything is so grand, and then, if I'm not mistaken, she's raped. And that great, wonderful, happy story takes a really weird turn, and the audience is not ready for it. I wasn't ready for it any given time that I watched it. I think I blocked that out. That's why I couldn't remember the Valley Girl. Makes sense. But Fontaine, black, PhD from Columbia in literature, if I'm not mistaken. He's a junkie, decides to up and go to Amsterdam. Now, I don't remember all the details. I just remember kind of the highlights. One of my favorite things was the idea that on the flight, the flight attendant with this rickety cart comes down, and the choices for dinner were steak, but 3 ways. You could get overdone, underdone, or done steak. And Fontaine asked for the done steak. She comes out, the flight attendant, with these big ass mitts, I think was how Fontaine said it, and kind of throws it down, and Fontaine is thinking it's going to be hot, but touches it, and the bitch was cold. I just remember that. And the bitch was cold. I'm probably, again, this 30 plus, 40 plus year old memory might be a little off, but Fontaine goes to Amsterdam, and if I'm not mistaken, day trips to Germany. I was a huge fan of the Hogan's Heroes, still am. But she's playing this character at Fontaine on stage, and she mentions Hogan's Heroes. And she mentions Hogan's Heroes because this black junkie goes to Germany, and the people in the town are looking at him like he is made of chocolate, because there's this world in which these people in this smaller area have not really been introduced to black people, right? And I'm sure that, my history and my family teaches me that when black men went to war, there were all these rumors about them having tails, and these were stories that were literally told in real time to put fear in the people that the black soldiers were going to protect. That's a side note, but let me get back to Fontaine. So Fontaine is trying to get the audience to understand this reference that here's a black man in Germany, and they're looking at him like he is like a black magical unicorn. But I was that kid with blonde hair. Let me tell you about the black magical unicorn. It does not rub everybody well. And so this idea of people being reactive to this black person, Whoopi Goldberg was teaching me a lot about life. I didn't know any junkies that I knew of. Now, it turns out I knew some junkies. I just didn't realize they were junkies. And I think it's funny because in life, we all know people with various things that are wrong. but we just don't talk about them, and that way we can pretend like that they actually don't have problems and they're perfectly normal, and that allows us to kind of be perfectly normal. That special, though, really allowed me at 14 or 15 years old to see life through the lens of 5 different characters, all in a way kind of traumatized by the beauty of the mystery of life. And somehow Whoopi Goldberg summed all that up in a 59-minute, 60-minute special on HBO way back in the day. I am 54, nearly 55. It is 2025. I woke up with Whoopi Goldberg so solidly in my mind. Those characters from that show, I really do think there was a lesson to learn then. I think there's still a lesson to learn now. I think about every role that she's done, and they've all taught me something. All of them. All of them. It's amazing. But that first special, that first 50-minute, 60-minute introduction to who Whoopi Goldberg is, how dynamic her mind is, how dynamic her understanding of human nature was, and just think that she's anthropologically, Whoopi Goldberg, I feel, knows humanness better than anybody else in this world. She's encountered it and lived under its skin to the point where she gets it. But now I see that she got it a long time ago, and I just missed it. I love me some Whoopi Goldberg. I really do. But if you ever get a chance to watch that original special, I recommend it highly. I do. It changed my world. It's still changing my outlook on life. This one's a little longer. Whoopi Goldberg deserved that. Check out those characters. But Fontaine, there's a power in Fontaine. There's a power in all of them. But Fontaine, man, Whoopi Goldberg, you knocked it out of the park with that one. One of the things I wanted to talk about. Seemed like a good day. All right, go in peace.